Hello everyone, welcome to this session. I am Sayukta Saxena, and in the last session we have drawn this style wherein we wrote hope using our brush pen, and then we tangled all around something like embedded lettering that we did. Yeah. Today we'll write another word using some of the letters. Use brush pen calligraphy to write that word. Before that, let us first learn how to write the word bliss. Yeah. So if you want to write bliss, I'll first start with the capital B. So start with a swash and then full pressure downstroke. And then right from here, start with a thin stroke, come down with a thick stroke, again a thin kind of thin stroke, come down with a thick stroke, and then just rotate it like this. So that becomes B. So wherever there is an upstroke, it is a less pressure stroke. When you come down, you press the brush pen. Again, this is less pressure. And then when you come down, you again press the brush pen hard. And then again, you are going up. So this is a light pressure stroke. Right? Then we'll write L. So L, as we know, will use the ascending loop. So I'm going to start light and then press hard like this and give a exit stroke, right? And then again I. So we already have the entry exit stroke here, so I'm not repeating that. It will help me connect these alphabets. Yes, and then S. So S can be a little tricky, so just watch me. I'm going to go up like this, press my brush pen hard, release the pressure, and then again press it hard. Again go up like this, press it hard, release the pressure, again press it hard, and then take it up like this. Yeah, so that's bliss. So let us now write it again on a tile. I'll show you once again how to write it, and then we can tangle all around it. So you can either use the same brush pen, or probably I have one more handy. So let us write bliss. Yeah. Yeah. So somewhere in the center, if you want to mark it so that the word comes somewhere in the center of your tile. So I'm just kind of roughly marking where do I have to write it. So starting with the swash, come down heavy, again go up light, come down heavy, again a light stroke, come down heavy, and then rotate it like this, the B. And then you can either take this up or you can just start from here, light up stroke, thick down stroke, exit stroke. Again use this exit stroke, the I, the dot, and then take this up, press your brush pen hard, release the pressure, again press it hard like this. Again take it up, press it hard, release the pressure, again press it hard like this and like this. Yeah, so that's bliss. Now let us kind of again enclose it, right? And then we can add, either give the same embedded kind of a look, or we can add something else. Let us see what do we want to do. So I'm first going to kind of enclose it inside, not a very straight line, but yes, somewhat kind of enclosing it like this. Yes, and I'm going to add another aura to this line. Close aura. Right, and then I'm going to add this kind of a grid all around it. Yeah, something like this. And then again I'm going to add another aura. Take your time. Slowly add one more aura. Like this. Yeah. Once we are done with that, again I'm going to add another set of curves, wavy lines, somewhat the humps over the dips. Yeah, so that's the kind of grid that I am drawing here, so that the shapes formed is somewhat similar. So that was the second layer. Again I'm going to add aura. Take your time. Slowly add the second layer of auras. Right? And then I'm going to do the same thing again till the time I fill up all the spaces that I have. Yeah. So just go ahead and do that exercise at your own pace, like this. Whatever spaces you have, just go with that. No hard and fast rules there, where, what. But just before adding the next layer, make sure you add the aura. Yeah. So I have filled up the entire space in the same fashion, drawn the same grid all around my bliss. And now I have my blue micron. So it's not a compulsion. You can always use your black micron and continue tangling. Since I have blue in the center, I use my blue micron. And now I'm going ahead and adding the tangle flux all inside. Right? Something like this. Trying to alternate the direction every time I draw it. And of course, the small little spaces, you can always add some orbs like this. Yeah. So again, I'm going to add flux inside each of these sections, alternate the direction as I draw it. You can draw it any which ways. It's not a compulsion that you have to draw it in this fashion only. The first layer I drew it in that manner, and now I'm just filling up spaces, and after filling it up with flux, whatever little spaces are left, as we generally do with flux, I'm just adding some orbs. Take your time. This is going to take a little bit of time since we have lot many such sections. So just slowly go to each and add the tangle flux. Yeah, you may feel the spaces are so small, but still you can see we can squeeze in so many flux there, 4 to 5 petals. So yes, the spaces are not small, they are quite big to add the tangle flux. So slowly take your time, go to each of the sections and add the tangle. Draw it at your own pace. Looks really nice. If you want to add something else, probably you can insert bunzo in some of the sections. I'm going to be sticking to flux. Even bunzo looks really nice in this kind of a grid. So you may want to add some bunzos, but that's entirely up to you. But don't forget to add these small, big orbs in between as they add to the look of this tangle flux. Take your time. Yeah. Keep rotating your tile. You don't have to move your hands much. Just move your tile. Squeeze in orbs wherever you can. Where you cannot, just fill in very tiny spaces. Yeah. So I'm going to continue like this. You draw at your own pace. No hurry. I will do exactly the same exercise in all these sections. Try keep changing the direction of your flux, and that's why I'm drawing them in alternate directions, but that's okay. It's optional. You can maneuver it any which ways. So I'm continuing with the same process, still adding my flux. Take your time, slowly. Add flux to each of the sections. So this is a beautiful grid actually to draw many tangles, and flux is one of them. I'm just alternating directions. These spaces that are left, you can add auras also. Just aura the space that is left. Even that looks pretty nice. I'm adding orbs. Yeah. The last few left. Be patient. Take your time. And then probably this one. Yeah. So I think we are done. Small little spaces left here and there. You can always add some orbs. Yeah. So let us shade now. So I also have my blue chalk. So inside space you can either add blue chalk or you can add graphite the way we did in the last session. So I'm first adding some blue chalk, and then we'll see if we want to give the same effect of a dip as we did in the last tile. We can do that also. You can also use this chalk for shading your flux if you want. So I'm going to add some extra here, just the way we did last time. Gives a nice depth to our tile, to our write-up. Yeah. And now I'm going to switch to my pencil. So just highlight the grid. So I'm going to add graphite inside each of these sections at the edges. Something like this. And as I mentioned, you can do this exercise with your blue chalk also. And just blend it a little. Make sure you leave the centers white. Yeah. So this is going to highlight your grid. So slowly go to each. Probably you can do it layer by layer so that you don't miss any. So make sure your pencil is sharp and you hold it at an angle inside your palm. That's the best way to hold it. So that's the first layer. Let us blend it. So just blur the chalk, the graphite, and you don't have to spread it much because you don't want the entire section go gray. You want the whites also to be visible. So just blur the graphite which is there at the edges. Restrict it to the edges only. Yeah, and then we can move on to the second layer. Again, add graphite at the edges. Take your time. Slowly do that exercise throughout. Right, and then the third layer, just the same way. Go to each of the sections. Not too much, just the edges. Right? So I'm going to do that for all. Slowly blur the graphite. Go to each of these sections. Take your time. Yeah. So let us now blend. Slowly. Try keep these grid lines white so that the grid is clearly visible. Yeah. So if you can, although spaces are small and the lines are pretty close, just avoid adding graphite in this gap. So the grid lines are clearly visible. That will definitely add to the look. Yeah. So slowly go to each, take your time and slowly blend the graphite before we go ahead and highlight the center. So I'm almost done shading my flux, adding graphite to each. Yeah. And then you can use a different blending stub if you have it handy, and then just blend the chalk. Take your time. Make sure you use a different blender. And now I'm just going to add a little extra darkness on this corner as we did in the last session also. But there it was graphite. Right? So if you want to add some extra darkness, use this brush pen only and then just redo the corner and probably use a gray brush pen. Add some extra darkness on this corner to show a dip. Yeah? Not extending in too much, just a dip. And just a little more blue there. And that's it. I don't want to do more. Yeah. Now you can use your white chalk if you want and then highlight the center portion. So this is my white chalk pencil, and if you want you can just wherever you think you can, because there's no point running it on gray. So where you think there are white spaces, you can highlight it a little more with your chalk. So slowly take your time, go to each, and if you think you have that scope, you haven't spread your graphite too much, then go ahead and add that chalk in the center. Yeah, that's about it. Just soften it. Make sure it's not patchy. You can use a different blender also. And that's about it. We are done. We don't need to do anything else. That's bliss. Yeah. You want to add again some bit of embellishments are always welcome. You can add some black pearls or bubbles or anything that you want. Just going to redo the inner aura. Add a little more prominence there. Always a good idea to revisit some of the lines after you have finished shading. Yeah. So that's today's style. I'm going to close it here, and I'm not going to sign here, but please sign and date your tile. This is a 5 tile, just in case you have not attended the previous session, right? And today is, I think, 13th. So I shall see you with some more sessions wherein we will try some bit of brush pen calligraphy along with Zentangle. And don't worry if we have not covering all the letters, all the alphabets in the uppercase and the lowercase. I shall do an additional session wherein I will show how to write all these letters using the brush pen. Yeah. So as of now, just enjoy tangling and some bit of calligraphy. I shall see you again in the next session. Bye bye.